I knew I was gonna fail KCSE. For me, I was like, the only thing that I enjoyed about it was the drama. Like, I was fine. If I was in the classroom when they taught the subject, I would understand it. But if I didn't make it to the class, or if I had to nap, it is what it is. I had a friend who told me, Zoesha mzazi debe, like, give them a D. My grades suffered so much. My dad barred me from taking part in this drama and music nonsense. This is around the same time I found out he used to do drama and he had barred it under there. So I find out and I was like, I'm not stopping, obviously. My uncle was like, you should really consider the Canada thing. So that school also had like an athletics scholarship. My uncle was like, yeah, I'll get you into that system. I'll get you even a letter. So all you need to do is start training and doing. The first race we did like 3 or 4 weeks later, I was number 2 from the back. By the next year, I was actually in the provincial team that went to the national.
So you actually become an athlete?
I did become an athlete.
Family, what was money like?
I didn't have to pray for my parents. You know what I mean? Like, where one of the things I realized was that we don't have money was intentional from them to instill some discipline and not being spoiled in us. Their go-to thing was to pre-traumatize brokenness in our minds. Like, listen, don't behave like money is your sibling. I did, especially in 2019, recorded it, did everything, and I watched it and I cried.
In Nairobi, if you're a decent comedian, what are you taking home?
Like on a 50. You know, money is not everything, guys. I don't save a lot, but I invest a lot. The thing for me is that I have a house in Shags. Kikiumana tunaenda huko.
Everybody, welcome back to Financially Incorrect. I am your host, Barrack, and my voice has not recovered yet, so that's why it's still a bit quaky. But it's a Friday, so we have a personal story for you, and it comes none other than from the founder of Standup Collective, and he's a comedian, he's an MC, he's an entrepreneur. Welcome to Financially Incorrect, Doug.
Thank
Mutai.
you, Barrack.
Should I introduce you as, you know, every person I've spoken to about you says both your names.
Right. I know.
Doug Mutai, so it's not just Doug.
Yeah. I don't know why. It's easier that way, I think.
Yeah.
Because every time I introduce myself as Doug, people are like, Dan. I end up having to say Douglas, which I don't even like.
Is that your full name, though?
Yeah, that's a full name.
It is Douglas. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
so Doug Mutai
Doug
makes
as a
more
full
sense because that G gives a resting place for the M gives a resting place for the G.
Yeah.
So that people don't say Dan.
I see.
You know, so it makes sense if that's people are saying Doug Mutai. It's fine. I am okay with that.
Okay. Anyway, welcome to Financially Incorrect. I'm looking forward to having this episode. How have you been?
I have been good, man.
Yeah.
I've been good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited. I'm a fan of the show, so it's a good mix. You
have, and I think I want to believe we'll edit this quick enough, but you have a big thing coming up.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us a bit about that.
Yes, we have 2 big things. Because we have the Nairobi International Comedy Festival happening, you know, being put together by Standup Collective. And it's one of those dream projects where we try and have comedians from all over the world performing in Nairobi in the same period. And also Nairobi headliners performing on the same lineup. Kenyan headliners, performing on the same lineup. And it's an exciting thing for the culture, man, because it's been a dream to build this. You know, when I was starting out, comedy festivals were the place to launch careers, and we hope this is the type of place where also not only launching careers, but we're building like a cultural, you know, it's a cultural thing, it's a vibey thing, it's a good place to be at. And so we have a festival happening, we have so many shows, almost 10 shows, and one big gala at the Movenpick happening on the last day on 16th with comedians from, you know, South Africa, from UK or Zimbabwe, you know, UK via Zimbabwe. We have Uganda, we have Tanzania, we have Kenya, of course. What else we have? And then pre-festival, we have an Australian performing at the pre-festival. It's amazing, and we're excited for that. And it's a good thing. I'm really excited for the festival. Right?
How much does it cost to put it together?
It's a lot of money.
What is a lot of money?
So it's a lot of money and goodwill. It's okay. It's not a lot, but it's a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We are playing around the five figures, but we are also using a lot of goodwill to get it, to make it happen. So that's why we are able to pull it off that way. But yeah.
I mean, that is not, it's not pocket change.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. But for some people,
it can be.
It can be pocket change. I mean, there are some people who steal more than that per day. So so they have a lot of it. But so yeah, but that's around where we're looking at.
Yeah.
But I'm sure with a rising profile, it can oscillate anyway. Last year we were able to do it cheaper. Oh, actually, we got more support last year, so it's a start. Yeah.
Are you gonna make your money back?
No, we're gonna break even though.
You're gonna break even.
Likely,
Though.
yeah.
Yeah. Last year
we did because we had support from the British Council.
Right.
And HIVA, and so we kind of made the money back, and it kind of balanced out. But this year, I think the biggest profit will be the impact and the culture.
Okay.
Because it's also an important metric for something like this, where you want to see what the impact you want to create impact more than you want to make money out of it.
Right.
Yeah, and it will really benefit the culture and the people. I guess the culture means the people will benefit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the ways that the festival makes money beyond the ticket sales, sponsorships? Is there anything else that or any other avenue you guys tack on?
So partners make money from F&Bs, like the restaurants and stuff like that. So they make money from that. I can't really, right now, there's no other avenue, apart from a third avenue.
Right.
I think in the future it will be there.
Yeah.
Because you'll have also TV shows, you'll be able to sell shows out of it. And we're hoping, we are fingers crossed, we'll have some streaming venture in there, so we can experiment with that and see what that looks like. That's also one of the big things that one of the partnerships that we're jumping into during the festival, which we are very excited about.
Okay.
And yeah, that could be the thing. But in overall, it has a lot of, when it actually finally becomes like a tourist destination, a holiday destination, there is the ecosystem now. So you can name any kind of industry in the value chain that can benefit from that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. How many people, volume-wise, showed up last year over the whole festival?
Last year it was decent, around 1,000.
Okay.
For the space we were using, it was quite something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this year we're hoping to at least double that or go beyond.
Go beyond that. Okay.
Yeah.
And the festival takes part, because you haven't even said what day it is.
Oh,
for the
yes. The festival
Yeah.
takes place from August 12th to all the way to 16th. So we'll have an opening show at the Baraza Media Lab. We'll have at the La Mesa, we have a ladies' night on Wednesday. Thursday, we have a homegrown heat, which is for all the homegrown, a lot of homegrown talent, the heavy hitters locally. Friday, we have a sibling rivalry with the highly debatable. It's an East African battle, battling Uganda. We want to solve our problems with Tanzania once and for all in debate. So, because our hawajashughulikia, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, we have the family-friendly comedy magic puppet show with Puppets 254, Darren Collins, and the gala in the evening, which will be at the Movenpick Hall of Africa, very aptly named hall for this purpose. And then every night from Wednesday, we'll also have a late mixer. Like, it's a late show, it's an after-party type of show. It's very loosey-goosey, fun, just guys hanging out. And even the younger comedians, local comedians, that's also another one of the benefits, is having the local comedians interact with the foreign talent that is coming in, so that they can, expand their networks and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds exciting. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, you said this was one of the cool things that you have coming up. What's the second one?
The other thing is I have my comedy special coming out on YouTube in September. It's called Wine by Doug Mutai. It's just by virtue of the fact that it's taken me a lot of years to put it out. I did a special in 2019, recorded it, did everything, and I watched it and I cried. I didn't like the result.
Where were the tears from?
Okay, so the tears. It started. So on the recording, when we were doing the principal production of the thing, the show, I guess we were such a small shop then that I was doing a lot of the stuff. I was running around, doing everything. So my fashion delayed. The guy who was to do my fashion came, so I was feeling off with what I was wearing. Whoever was dressing me just kind of let me down. and then we had the production happening. And then the show was fantastic. The show is happening. It's really nice. And then when it's time for me to go up, because we had openers and stuff, I go up to perform. And we had a drunk white lady ruined the night. She was so drunk. She heckled so hard. Like 10 minutes into my set, I'm settling in, I'm calm, and I think I broke down.
On
I didn't
stage?
cry. Yeah, I didn't cry, but I got angry. Like I didn't control my emotions on stage. Like I think when you're on stage and you're performing and the only thing you're supposed to give is good vibes.
Right.
100%. Even if you have someone you're dealing with who is
Right.
annoying,
Right.
you should be above it. But I didn't see it coming. Like first of all, cause I was tethering when it was happening. I was like, I don't know how to feel because the room was packed. All the shows I'd done prior to that in Nairobi was like 50% at best. So I was really feeling the
Intensity.
the intensity. I'm like, the love, is it love? Why are people here? Like, why are all these people here? Like, I was prepared for 50 people max, and now we don't have a place to seat people. People are standing. It's standing room only. And it was at the Blues restaurant. It was happening at Barclays Plaza in town. And in my mind, I was just like, whoa. Like I didn't, and this is like what I processed later. But when it was happening, I was just like, I'm not sure what's going on. Like I'm just lost. So I'm like, these people are here to support, I guess. Like that's the best you can hope, and you are glad they have come. You're so grateful for them being there. And then this lady just heckling, just turned it around. In the middle of a joke, she just started saying, "No, you shouldn't do that because, oh my God." And then to make it worse, while I was on stage, she was talking backstage. So I could hear her while I'm performing. So
she wasn't even...
So she went backstage. And the backstage we had was like just separated by a cloth. She went to talk to the comedians. She had some feedback for Amandip or someone. But like, I didn't, whatever you did, whatever I was feeling. So I was just listening to her talk. And I was like, I wish somebody could shush her. And then I think somebody got her out of there. She came to the room and I was like, oh, thank God, now it's quiet now. I'm getting my rhythm again. And I'm like, all right. I got the crowd back. Everybody's great. Walking. One of the comedians who was performing was Mamito, and she killed. So I was hoping to ride that wave. So I'm in the process of delicately just riding that wave. And then I'm like, oh, she goes quiet, that lady. And I was like, oh, that's good. Now I got them. And I got, the first full laugh. Before I was getting laughs, but it was like I'm distracted. Right. I'm like, what is going on? So I got a full laugh. I was like, okay, good, it's happening. She sits down. 2 minutes later, I'm in the middle of setting up a joke. The room is dead silent. Boom! I think it was a joke about condoms. And you shouldn't use. Oh my God! And I kind of just snapped and I turned. Of course, I didn't show it, but now everything is coming out of with vile. It's not you're roasting someone with vile. Like if you roast in a good natured way, it's fine. But if it's vile, and bro, I struggled. The rest of I had 30 minutes to go. After 10 minutes, I think I'm getting the momentum. I'm like, I have 30 minutes to go. Another comedian called John Ribier just came and told her, you gotta go. He took the mantle of just being a bouncer and just walked her out to the back. And she had brought so many people too. That was why I was so mixed. The emotions were so mixed for me. It was like, I know for a fact you bought 20 tickets.
Yeah. So you now have a special that you want to do, and hopefully we will get to, for those who don't attend physically, we will get to see the light.
Yeah. This one will get to see the day of light, because the one that we buried, and you guys didn't deserve it. Yeah. It would not have been fair.
Okay.
Yeah. But I put out some of the segment of the heckle, but the emotions were so raw. But this one, it's so good. The recording went smooth. The direction went smooth. I've watched a few drafts and they are fantastic. We had an encore, which I've never had an encore, where people are calling you back to perform specific jokes they didn't hear that day, which felt really good, because it's like, all right, let's do this. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm really excited for that one, yeah.
Let's get into your story now, right?
Yeah.
A little bit about you.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
Bro, I grew up all over the South Rift. I grew up in Nakuru, I grew up in Kericho, I grew up in Bomet, the older Bureti district. That's where most of my childhood, I spent my childhood there, most of it. And then of course high school in Nakuru. Then I came and then I went to college. I went to college in Canada, And then I came back after that a few years later. Like, wow, it's almost now 10 years since I got back. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Middle class family. What was money like? Was it middle class? Is it wealthy?
I wouldn't say wealthy, but definitely middle class. We were okay. We were okay. I didn't have to pray for my parents. You know what I mean? Like where it's a blessing, right? It's nice that I mean I guess they got their stuff together in time. So by the time we came along, life was okay. I'm sorry, guys. These guys are still laughing. I was a silly joke. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good middle class family, teacher and a preacher. Yeah.
Who was the preacher and who was the teacher?
My dad was a preacher. He's still the preacher. And evangelizing all over and spreading the good word. And my mom was a teacher, physics and maths, and also a school administrator. So that's kind of how my life was growing up.
Yeah. What was it? Can you give me a description of what money looked like in the house? Like, did you guys have DSTV? Did you have a pool in the house? What does money look like?
Right.
Yeah.
So, first of all, the money that we had was the old currency. It was the ones with Moi on it.
Yeah.
No, it was okay. We didn't have that. So I think we got a lot of institutional advantage because my mom was a high school teacher and she was a principal for a majority of. Okay, so she was, ever since I knew her, she was a deputy, then she became a principal for a girls' school in Bomet, and that's why we actually moved Bomet, Kericho, Nakuru, those areas. We moved along with her. And then my dad used to work when he was the preacher, the young preacher that he was, and the reverend used to be in Nakuru, based in Nakuru. So mostly we'd spend our school days before we went to boarding with my mother, and then my dad would just be there every week or every weekend or something like that. Like all Calais dads, they at 5 p.m. they are at Afia Center. They're going to Shags. They left the wife and children there, and so while we lived there, my grandpas also had some stuff, so that kind of gave them a bit of grounding too. So we used to reside in the staff quarters a lot. So that means, in 95, before there was electricity and any other type of connectivity, we used to have the generators. So we could only watch TV from 7 p.m. till
when the generator's
10,
on.
11.
Right.
Yeah, the generator is on. That's kind of how. So we had access to TV, but we didn't have access to TV like that. I like, people normally give me cartoon references. I don't get them because it's like, how could you? People look, it goes on at 9 a.m. Like I have my friends in school would be like, oh yeah, if you watched whatever Nickelodeon, whatever it was that was famous back then. It's like, yeah. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, Saturdays 9 a.m. You should get up and watch it. I'm like, I could get up, but I won't watch it because what do you mean you have electricity at 9 a.m.? You know what I mean? It's only for lights in the evening. So that's kind of, so we didn't watch a lot of that. We didn't, not a lot of TV consumption, not a lot of media. We didn't consume a lot of media for sure. Because we lived for all intents and purposes, we lived in shags surrounded by a fence where we can access the shags, the fresh foods, but we have to go back to the school compound somehow for the lights and the nice buildings and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What did you learn about your dad and money and the church through what you saw?
Oh, I learned a lot, especially the most intense thing was the politics in the church that I saw.
With regard to money?
Money? So, okay, I didn't know enough about money, honestly. I didn't pay attention to the money at all. Like, it's one of those things that I didn't know. I never had an idea. Like, we were comfortable enough that I didn't have to think about money. Though from time to time I'd ask my folks, hey, how is I'd ask my dad, because there was times where I'm like, we need a nice car. So I'd be like, my dad, can't you buy a car? And he's like, I don't have money, so it's expensive. The stories they'd give you. And then now I'd try and help him figure out the money situation, but not like creatively in my mind, I was just looking at the newspaper. I was like, oh, there's a car that's being sold for $250. And then I'd ask him, so what's your net worth? How much money do you have right now? That's one of the things I remember the most. And every time he'd give me the same figure. He'd be like, Kwanzaa, be very evasive, and then figure out that I'm really obsessed with what I'm trying to figure out, because I'll be like, I'm trying to get us to get a car. I don't understand why you're not getting a car, you know? And then he'd be like, oh, well, mbele nyuma, nothing else. I have a total of 10,000 shillings. And I was like, okay, this car is 250,000. In the newspaper, I was reading in the newspaper. And then at some point I realized, oh, you get paid. And then my mom also gets paid, because I chanced upon my mom's pay slip from 1987 or something like that. I was like, oh, you have a salary. So I calculated how much money she's made since she's been earning. And I just had to ask her, like, I don't understand how you say you don't have money for the car, yet this is the money that they have paid you. For my dad, I didn't get a hold of his pay slip, but I was like, I assume you get paid now, because I used to chokora things, man. I used to read minutes of meetings, I'd find, because my dad at some point was the guy evangelizing for the PAG church in the Rift Valley a lot. So he'd even walk around with documents. He'd be at conferences so he's between all this. So I'd be reading minutes of meetings. CG, when the Nairobi Pentecostal Church broke away from PAG and became CTAM, I was reading when they went to negotiate that stuff as a kid. And I didn't even, but it just stuck in my mind. So when I came and I was asking for
this car
thing, because I was really wanting a car. And I calculated the mathematics. This is when my mother sat me down and be like, we don't just get money and keep it. You didn't just grow up. You have to be fed. We have to pay for fees, for medicine, for this. I was like, oh, snap. We have to pay for the house. What? Like, all that stuff started happening for me where I understood. But I wouldn't say we had the healthiest relationship with money in terms of discussions, like my parents being upfront with what money means and how to prepare yourself for it. We didn't, but they definitely talked about value and doing stuff of value. That one they explained a bit, but when it comes to money, it was very cagey. Nobody was clear about what is going on with finances. I've never, even much later when I grew up, there were periods where they were struggling, but I didn't know. Like, we'd never got to hear that. All I knew constantly was, we don't waste money, we don't have money, or money is not something to be wasted. But, if you need stuff, you just have to plan for it, that type of a thing. And, we never used to go to, I thought kids are not allowed in the bank, because whenever we'd go to, and I found out, this was not me alone, even I found out from another comedian called Kisiangani, because whenever we'd go to town and my mom or my dad is going to the bank, they'd be like, wait here. Or they're going to the ATM, they just wait out here. So I knew we're just not allowed. It's like a bar. Like, you're not supposed to go in there if you're under 18 years of age. So that's kind of the cagey relationship we had around money. But as we grow up, you start learning about it. I think I even learned that in school about the maneuvering around it, like the culture around money. And frankly, I think it just came from that the scarcity mentality of, hey, all you need is a play and you need to earn. Even when we were finishing school, my parents are emphasizing on, especially my mom is like, you just need a good job, earn, and keep diligent, keep your head down and stuff like that. So even when I said I'm going to be an entrepreneur, or I didn't say it, but I just intended it in many ways, they were just like, I don't. But even when I was a kid, I remember the fact that I couldn't get money willy-nilly, but the people I used to watch having money all the time are the people who are businessmen. Like your uncle who is a businessman is always giving out money or buying money, or like the guy who came, my dad was selling my dad some land. He came and I watched my dad give him money, and then I was like, why? He's like, he's a businessman, he's selling land. So I became, okay, maybe that is where the money would be if you want money. But it didn't become a thing for me to need money until like high school or after high school when I started thinking, okay, I want money for pocket money, for Timberlands, for nice faded jeans, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I did a bit of that and I learned. So I don't know how I started figuring out the discipline of money or even the idea of entrepreneurship. But I knew that one of the things I know that I used to love doing is I loved doing things.
Right.
So I would create, I would make stuff. You remember those bracelets that have like you Rasta, whatever. I used to make those, and by virtue of my access to the schools that my mother was teaching at, I used to have a steady stream of customers.
Yeah.
Because it was a girls' school, so it's girls always saying, "Hey, you can make that? Make one for me," and like, just put my name and my boyfriend or whatever the crush they had in high school, and that's what I would do. Like I'd just do that, make those stuff, and sell it to these kids while they were in tuition. Especially it would be Form 4s because when I'd be home for holidays,
the senior school.
The seniors are doing the tuition period
and the prep and stuff.
Yeah,
I find it interesting because when I initially asked you about money. In the household you grew up in, you said it was really good. Like it was like, no problems.
Yeah.
However, as you're processing it, you're talking about having electricity, 4 hours in a day,
Yeah.
And you're talking about you made very deliberate statements also about your parents saying, we don't have money, we don't have this. Like, so I find that contradiction really really interesting. I'm wondering whether it's you who's not processed it, because it sounds like it almost sounds like you answered as, I don't want to psychologically analyze you, but it sounds like you answered as the kid, as Doug the kid, who was told money is okay, and then now as you're talking about it, you're like, oh wait, actually.
So I do know. I get that. One of the things I realized was that we don't have money was intentional from them to instill some discipline and not being spoiled in us. Because even when I processed it as a kid, we had a lot. Like when I look at the stuff they had, I was like, you had a lot of money for the period. Like there was the whole black tax thing, which both of them were responsible for their entire extended families. And they
took care
for most of them, they took care of a lot of them.
Right.
So for me, it was always like, we don't have money. But when you see it, they had money.
Yeah.
They just didn't.
Right.
They just didn't do it the way I would have thought what money was. And definitely for me, even and my siblings, we grew up knowing we are not all that. Like we don't have money to waste. There's no money to waste. Oh, there's even a story my mother used to tell us about certain neighbors they had, or people who like, you'd find like people who had like kids of families who were tycoons or kids of ministers. She talked about the generational thing where the parents would starve themselves and have a lot of like sacrifices, so they have a lot of money, and then the kids come and squander it. So they kind of instilled something around that quite early. My mother especially used to talk about it. There used to be like a story of an old man who used to own buses around that route, Bomet, Kericho area, Nakuru. And he used to show up like in a kikapu, wearing shorts and like sandals, the Akala sandals, to buy a lorry at a dealership. And the way my mother would talk about it is like, you find a situation like that, now the kids might start squandering it, because there was another one who the kids had already started because the guy had passed on, so the kids had started squandering it.
Yeah.
So when I process it now, as a grown-up, I realized that was the goal for them, to be like, it would suck for us to work hard for all this money, and then you guys squander it.
Right.
So their go-to thing was to pre-traumatize brokenness in our minds. To be like, listen, don't behave like money is your sibling. And they did that. There was a lot of that happening. Like it was like, don't waste money, or we don't have a lot of. You want to do that?
Yeah. So how does Canada come up then? Because that's not a cheap affair by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
How does Canada come up?
So Canada comes up because around one time when I graduated high school. So while I was even in high school, there was already people we knew who had gone to Canada. Even an uncle of mine was there. There's other people. So like in high school, I realized, I nearly cheza sana. I joked so much in high school.
Yeah.
And actually one of the biggest sources of conflicts, the only one we had with my dad, was around high school. I was really heavy into drama. And after I joined the high school I was in, I didn't want to be there anymore. So I wanted a change of schools. And then they were like, no, you're not going to do that. This is a good school. We wanted you to be here. It's a national school. What is your problem? Stay there and get it together. My dad is like, that's life. So figure it out and stay in that school. And so for me, I was like, the only thing that I enjoyed about it was the drama, because I've always been a drama kid anyways. It was fantastic. Drama and music. That's all I was doing throughout high school. And my grades, obviously, and I didn't pay attention to my grades till the last year, the final year, when I was like, oh wow, it's happening, it's the end.
When you say you didn't pay attention to your grades, what were your grades? Is it D? Is it E? Is it?
Yeah, C minus, C plus. Like I was fine. If I was in the classroom when they taught the subject, I would understand it. But if I didn't make it to the class, or if I had to nap, it is what it is. So eventually, I kind of just limped along, throughout the high school. And there was also a lot of administrative issues happening at the school around that time as well. Our principal was an old guy who was almost retiring. He didn't care much, or he was exhausted. He didn't understand the new generation then. So I limped along quite a bit through the high school period. And because I loved drama, that's what I did. And music, that's what I did. And then my grades suffered so much, my dad barred me from taking part in this drama and music nonsense. And this is around the same time I found out he used to do drama and he had buried it under the thing. So I find out and I was like, I'm not stopping, obviously. But now they can tell you, but you will keep doing it. So I kept doing it. And then in my mind, I was like, what is it anyways? And then there was a lot of talk about the bad economy in Kenya. There are no jobs. You'd hear that everywhere. You'd read that everywhere. So for me, in my mind, I started forming an opinion of what I'm going to do after high school. I was like, I'm going to start a business doing ABCD. I'm going to be an actor, do this, that, write my own plays, do stuff, and just figure out that's a business I was going to do. And then around Form 3 is when I started taking an interest in Canada. So I started just researching and stuff and talking to the people that I knew. So when I finished, and I obviously didn't make the cut for the HELB group, that
the government
sponsored sponsorship, right. But I really, I shocked them, because throughout my entire high school, I never stepped into B anything. Be anything, and that was fine. I would even be worried if I got to a C plus. I'd be like, it might raise their hopes. So I would be like, let me bring, we had those guys who used to forge the report cards.
Yeah.
I had a friend who told me, Zoesha mzazi debe, give them a D. But I never got to do it, to give them, so I just gave them my grades. And then around the same time, it was a weird mix. Around the same time when I was in school is when our school was digitizing everything. Moving records from, analog, the pace, to computers. And by some weird sheer luck and misfortune, my name didn't get into the system. So every time there was a report, I'd have to go and ask for, hey, can you
physical?
Yeah, they'd have to look for my results, then enter it, and then someone would not save it or something. So the next time again, so much that when we started doing the tuition, the holiday tuition, that was a separate account even financially for the school. So they couldn't pay bills. So I'd get the money from my parents and just hold on to it till the last day. If nobody says anything, I just go back with it.
And you go back and give your folks?
No. Why do they? I have projects, man. I'm a busy guy. I am a busy guy. I have things to do. And sometimes I was so disciplined. Sometimes I would, when I get back home, I put the money away, hide it till the next holiday, just in case they ask. during the school term.
Yeah, you can say here it is.
Yeah, and I'll be like, oh yeah, sorry. Like, oh, sorry. Why didn't you tell me? I held off. But
And what were you keeping the money for?
I use it. I wanted to get a phone. I wanted nice shoes. I don't remember what else actually. But I was balling. Oh, and then during the next one, I'd now go to we go dancing in Coco Savannah and Nakuru back then. But the final, I think the second last year is when they put my system in once and for all. And so they were like, yeah, since Form 3 we were remedial, you didn't pay for remedial. They just knew
Backdated.
the April one.
Yeah.
They didn't backdate all of it from Form 3. Just the Form 4. And I was like, oh, what? Then they sent me home.
Yes.
Because they're like, oh yeah, you need to go and bring. And I took the exit because I had the money.
Yeah.
So I just took the exit and I was just roaming around. Then I brought back the money and I just paid.
Yeah.
And then I was just fine and I just carried on life like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Nobody was none
Is
the
this
wiser.
the first time your folks will hear about this?
Yeah. It's gonna be fun. Fun stuff, man. And there was no M-Pesa back then.
Yeah.
They'd give you cash.
Yeah.
No, I think I told my mom a while back.
At some
I'm not
point.
sure, but maybe it's the first time. But yeah. So basically, for my grades,
You get a B.
I get a B
Average.
A B average. And then I was like, so I didn't make it. So I just applied it to the schools I knew in Canada, and then I talked to an uncle who had gone through that same system, and I got it. And then the first thing I did was come back to my parents and I tell them, and my dad was like, "No, you're not going. You know, nobody's happy about how my uncle is gone and he's disappeared, like Ajakuja, my mom's brother." So they was like, "No." Actually, he talked to another uncle who they are close. And they had a conversation and they told him, no, not a good idea unless, And then they come back to now, okay, so, and the parallel had just started. So my mom my dad or my mom, whoever, they got me admission at JQuat, at KU, and which other uni was this? And they're like, yeah, you're going to do this. So it was going to start in medical microbiology. Another one was BComs. And another BComs, 2 BComs and a medical microbiology, and I was just like, all right, I'm excited to do that. Then another uncle of mine just talked to me and was like, dude, you're the firstborn. Tunajua watu watakwenda kutafuta fees. Unajua parallel si rahisi. And for me, in my mind, I was just like, oh, fine. But I didn't even think my parents could afford parallel. That's how I was used to, there's no money. Yeah. So when my mom is like, we're going to pay parallel, I was like, it's this much. They're like, yeah, it's fine. Because now it's the times for decoys and games are over. It's time to be like, go to school and study and do that stuff. They said that, and I was just like, my uncle was like, you should really consider the Canada thing. So I went back and convinced my dad, and they agreed, and they're like, yeah, you will go. And so I applied. I got my applications. We paid for the applications, and then in the process, I found out that that school also had like an athletics scholarship thingy. Which my uncle was like, yeah, I'll get you into that system. I'll get you even a letter. So all you need to do is start training and doing Kimbia. You just need a good PB time. So I was like, yeah. That sounds like a good idea. But during this time, I had written a play. And then I had another play that I borrowed from my trainer in high school, the one and only Amerix. The only Amerix.
Yes.
He was our trainer in high school. He was like a 20-year-old kid he was at the medical school, the KMTC there, and he used to train our school. So he gave me a play. And he's like, in exchange, you're gonna come and do our backdrops so that we're even. So I painted the backdrops for my high school when I was after. So, but he gave me a play that was really good. And I found a school, then another school took the other play and never paid me. And then the school that my mother was a principal at first when I said, hey, I have a play, I want to help you start like a drama school, he's like a drama club, because you have music, they're doing well for music, but they're not drama. So I was like, I'll do that. And she was really worried about the conflict of interest. She didn't say it. So she's like, no, you can't. Yeah, I don't know. She was very cagey. So I found a rival school nearby, and they agreed. And then the music patron at my mom's school found out
that you're going to start
to another school. Yes. And he just came to her and told her, no, you cannot allow that. We're going to get that playback, whatever. We do that here. And he agreed to be the one to be paid so he can pay me. So then I did that school and they did really well. So the context for that was, remember we used to have to wait 1.5 years before going to uni. So this is the period I'm supposed to be training.
For the athletic scholarship.
For the athletic scholarship. And I should go to Kaptagat or some place in Eldoret. Yes. I've never been even to those sites. So I was like, listen, guys, I have an idea. Listen, I'm very busy. Not only am I doing that, one of my friends, another family friend, and one of my best friends, one of my best friends, we had become so close that our families were close. So the brother started a kiosk to keep him busy as well, as we wait for the school. So now we're both working at the kiosk, and we took it very seriously because I knew I was gonna fail KCSE. So I have to start my life right now.
Yeah. There's no
auko kwingine, and who knows this kind of a thing. It might work out, it might not. So I'm so busy. I was like, I have an idea. Why don't I train myself? I can run. This is just running. I'll be running in the morning, and then during the day I'm doing my training. I'm doing the shops, and then in the afternoon I go teach drama, and then in the evening it's a full day. No, yeah, sounds good. So my uncle is like, have you gone to talk to this so and so? I was like, yeah, I called him. He was mteja. So he's like, no, just talk to him and go. And then eventually I told him, I found someone else. Because I found someone else. Who, another story, he was a con man. But this guy conned me and I got so angry. I was just like, I'll just do it myself. So I told my uncle, yeah, I'm training now. Training is going well, but this is not happening.
Sorry, let me ask you, about this training, is there a specific time you need to be able to meet for you to be eligible for this scholarship?
No. Yes and no. So it's an athletic scholarship. So it's like, for the first year, I was not going to get it. My uncle was just saying, they just need to accept you into the program.
Yes.
And to be accepted into the program, there's nothing needed.
There's no requirement. You
just need an athlete.
Right.
And once you're in the program, now you can start vying for scholarships.
Okay.
So the first year, I knew for a fact we were going to, my parents were going to pay for it.
Okay.
So that's even half the stress. So I was like, anyway, it's okay. Because I found out the fees were so much higher in Canada than it would have been here.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the point? But then my uncle was like, no, once you're here, you can now work. You can find ways to make money. It's better. I was like, that's okay then. So I'm training. I woke up the first night and I ran and I felt the pain. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? This is good. This I can really grow this way. And then I trained once a week. And I was barely doing anything. Because apparently to be an athlete, there's like a regiment. There's a bunch of stuff you have to do. It's not just running, on the road at your own pace. You know what I mean? I was jogging at my own pace. You know what I mean? So because that was the case, I just kept, and then I kind of fell off and I almost even gave up. I was like, I'm not coming to Canada. Business is good. My plays won and all the items that I wrote won the districts, the division. Was it zonals, districts, then to provincials? They were doing well. I was like, okay, it's fine. It was a lot of money back then. What I would be.
What were you getting at the time?
I think they were paying me. First of all, for a play, maybe it was 15K. And then every level, there was an amount, which I don't remember what it was. And then for like a narrative and then a choral verse, there was also like I think I charged 5K, and then per level, I'd get money. That was a lot of money, bro. There was a time I had 30K in my account, it was cash. Hizo siku bank haiko inakubali watoto. So I had 30, but I think I invented M-Pesa. Listen, I used to keep my money in airtime sometimes.
In airtime?
Yes. So I'd have like 5,000 bob in airtime, and I'd go to a shop and be like, can I give you airtime? You give me cash. I was one of the first I was not one of the first. I was one of the my generation was that group of Kenyans who used to do that. And I was I'm sure I was one of the first few young people to have the money to do it. So, so I did. They used to give me this money. I'd make this money, sweet money, because I made it. It was so nice. I planted potatoes. They got me a cow. Like one of my, I think it was my uncle, like, get him to be milking that cow and taking care of it and feeding it and become responsible for the cow. It was everyone's idea of keeping the kids busy as they wait to go to college. So I've kind of given up. And then somebody would activate again. My uncle would be like, hey, what's up? How is going? So you need to fill up this. There's a deadline coming up. Do it. Then I do the deadline begrudgingly. It was also another excuse to make money from my parents, because I'd be like, listen, hapa Litein hakuna cyber. They're so slow. Just give me money to go to Nakuru, because the cybers are much better in Nakuru, and I know Nakuru very well. And then I'll print everything, do everything, Then I'd call a friend of mine who was in Nakuru, and I'd be like, hey, I need a place to crash. Then I go to Nakuru for like 5 days, and the weekend I'd go dancing, and then I'd just come back. And then I'd do my paperwork. I'd do my paperwork during that period, whatever I need to do, put it on the cyber, send it back, and then come back to Shags to continue my life. So eventually, I met all the deadlines anyways, except that I didn't keep training. So it got to a point where we have applied for a visa. We got the visa. I even thought I was going for an interview. We got the visa. We did a they did a fundraiser in lieu of what is it called? It's a farewell. Yeah. But everybody came with like, hey, Kashike, right. Kalamu. And
how much money did you need for that first year? Because it looks like the objective was to get through the first year.
Yes.
How much did you need for the first year?
I think it was $3,000 for the tuition for the first. No, the tuition for the first semester was $3,000. So 2 semesters would be $6,000. And then you'd need, of course, upkeep and place to stay. And I had a place to stay for the first 6 months. So then after that, it was assumed that I'd get a job and do that kind of stuff. So pocket money, maybe $3,000, so around 10,000. But that's Canadian, not American. And I was thinking it was 60 shillings around then for the dollar.
Yeah.
So that's the money that we needed. But then somebody told me, I was told, now, you know what you can do is you defer some of your classes so you don't have to pay the 6K. You'd be paying like 4K per year, so 2K or something like that. It'll take you longer to complete, or you'd have to take some summer classes, but it's fine.
It pushes the financial burden.
Yeah, it pushes the financial burden. So we did that, got a bunch of money, and then I got the flight ready, and I went. And I showed up. I showed up like on the last week, so I even missed the orientation for the freshers. And then I got introduced to the team,
the athletics team.
Yeah, the athletics team from my classes. Got introduced to the coach, and to be fair to the coach, I was skinny enough. I looked the part. Skinny, black with a Kenyan passport. This is perfect for our team. Yeah. And then, the first thing.
Before you begin the first thing, what are you thinking at this time? Like, as you're meeting the coach and meeting the athletics team, like how are you carrying yourself? Are you presenting yourself as an athlete?
But I trained for 2 weeks. What are you talking about? I trained for 2 weeks. So here's what happened actually. You know that first when you run and you have so much energy at the beginning.
Yeah.
I was like that, but just do it a few more times. Like that is how it was in my head. I'll be like, I'll just run really fast the first few times. Yeah. Just cover their eyes and then that's it. Yeah. Because I thought we're just going straight to racing. Yeah. Like I didn't realize now it's training every day. Yeah. It's now developing you. Yeah. And one of the things that happened was, the coincidence was before I even met the coach, he was going around the streets looking at, he met a black kid, he'd talk to them. Where are you from? From Kenya, joined the cross-country team. That was a pre-qualification. Yeah. So we actually met with me and a few other black kids that I just met. And he found out two of us were from Kenya and then the rest was join the cross-country team, I need you to join. So the other guy didn't join, but I knew I was joining. So the next thing is I meet him. And I'm being introduced. I was like, oh, so you're a part of my students. Okay, cool. And the first day of training, is when it hit me. So he knows. I guess he's not an idiot. Oh, God. What a nice guy, but he was not an idiot. He looked and he's like, this. He knows the people who probably don't have the muscle to run. He looked at me and he's like, so you and you and you, I want you to go this way because I want to gauge your fitness level. Yeah, he was a kinesiology professor, so he could pick out these things. So me and three other guys, the guys are going for, I don't know if it was a long run, and we were going to the coolies, like to do hill work and that. And he's like, yeah, just follow the path. There was a guy who knew where we would be going, so we'll just follow. And then he told us we'll meet out there. I ran for, I ran. Listen, I really committed myself. I ran for like maybe 5 minutes. Then I started falling back, like really bad, like stitch, like all this crap. And I met him on the other side. He's just laughing. He's like, you didn't train, did you? Because whenever they'd ask, my uncle would be like, yeah, he's training. Because he'd ask me, and I was like, I'm training. So you didn't train, you did. Okay, crap. I know I'm going to have to start you from scratch. And they started me from scratch, man. He just was gracious enough, let us work anyways. Because he had given us a letter, right? That would even help with travel and stuff, like especially at the border. So I started training. I did like the first race we did like 3 or 4 weeks later. I was number 2 from the back, and then I just started improving. My time started improving so much that by the next year I was actually in the provincial team that went to the national.
So you actually become an athlete?
I did become an athlete. I became an athlete.
Yeah.
I became an athlete for that period, for like at least for 2 years of my college life, two and a half, and then I quit. But it was insane, but it was fun. I had a good time, and the guy, his name was Bertil Johansson. He was the coach who used to recruit a lot of Kenyans, and he'd be walking around in a tracksuit with a form, just fundraising. He was fundraising nonstop to just get scholarships to the Kenyan athletes, the athletic program. Not just the Kenyans, even Canadians, but mostly the people who needed the most was the Kenyan students. A lot of us, we needed the money the most. So he did a lot for us.
For you guys. Okay. Yeah. So we know how you get through year 1 financially. Yes. How do you get through the rest?
I forgot. So what happened first of all was, as soon as I get there, my uncle tells my dad, I don't think he'll need to try. I think he can get a job in 6 months. Just that year, Canada made it possible to get a work permit if you're a student after 6 months. So you can work. It's like he's going to have to work and just pay for himself, so you don't have to send him fees for the full year. So you just do the first semester, buy his books. There was books too, very expensive. Like almost $2,000 worth of books. It's crazy. And buy the books, so they'll be like, you'll be fine. So the first thing I applied for, the first thing my uncle just told me is apply for jobs now, especially in campus jobs. I'd apply for a job, and then I found out, that one they need. The first one that I got would have been perfect. It was an in-campus job. One of my references was my athletics coach. So the guys call him and they were like, but he's in season, he's running. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll be a good asset. So I didn't get the job. So I missed it. Then the job was advertised again like 3 months later. So I got it like in December, first year. Like after 3 months, I got a job. I was cleaning, I was a caretaker, janitor. It was after classes. So these guys, they called me again. They're like, last time your season was active. Is it still active? I was like, no, call the coach. It's like, the active season is done now. So they gave me the job. And I got the job. And I think my first paycheck was around $700, which was the balance that was left even. Enough money. So it gave me enough money for Christmas and to pay registration for the next semester, like just in time. And then after that, it was just the paychecks. I was just using our pay. Like sometimes just wait till. Sometimes I'd pay all the way I'd work all the way into summer, so that during the summer I'd get a full-time job because it was break, and then I just pay the arrears they'd give us. So fortunately for us, during that time, Lethbridge College used to give us. They'd defer our payment. They'd allow us to defer our payments. So when they defer our payments, we'd be able to pay much later, which was really helpful. Which I heard some young people have abused that. Now they ran away with the money from the school, so now they no longer allow them. That's very sad for those schools, for the younger people. But back during our days, I'd pay during the summer, I'd register for the next year's classes and stuff.
Okay.
That's how I did it. Just
So you paid. You ended up paying for your
paying,
fees.
yeah,
You paid
paying for
yourself.
my
You paid
fees.
for yourself through college.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so you finish your, I'd assume 3-4 years. You graduate. What happens next in your financial journey?
So what happens next is I'm in school. I've majored in marketing and business administration. But I'm digging the entrepreneurial thing, but I don't know anybody where I can fundraise, right, to even have the money to do what I need to do. But they have this little passion of mine that I've been trying to do for a long time, which was the art, right? But I was in such a small town that there was no scene for any of what I wanted to do or what I was used to. So it became such a nightmare till I kind of rediscovered comedy around that time, where I was just like, oh, comedy is not a thing you do. Like, I thought stand-up was improv, where you come up with everything on the moment.
Right.
But watching a lot of it online, I started seeing guys perform the same bit elsewhere. And I was like, oh, you can prepare these thoughts. I thought if I prepare the thoughts, I felt like such a fraud.
Like it's not.
Yeah, it's not kosher. It's like, that's not what you do, but you're being, you don't do that,
Yeah.
So when I realized people were doing, I was like, oh, then I can do this. So that is towards my last year. So I'm starting planning for it. And I'm really nervous, and I'm not sure what is going to happen. Like, am I going to become a welder? Like every African I'm seeing there is like, you finish your degree, you have everything. You're a welder, you're a driver, and I was like, I can't do that. I don't know how, if I have the energy to do that. I can do that for a living right now, but like, it's not a thing I want to do long term. I mean, marketing too. I've seen a few places I wanted to see, and how do marketing places work, like agencies? How do they? Is that where I would be working? And the more I saw it, the more I was like, hey, this is not gonna be for me. So what am I gonna have to do? So I decided I'm just gonna switch my credits. So I'm in my second year, right? I'm trying to do. So actually, in the middle of my schooling, I actually switched. Instead of going to the uni, I actually did a diploma, because I'd get 2 years credits to get my degree. So then I wouldn't have to do 4 years paying, because the uni was even much more expensive.
Right.
So then the community college was cheaper, because it's like, and it still gives you 2 credits for
2 years credit. Yes.
So I was like, let me just finish the diploma and decide what I'm going to do. But maybe I'm not going to do an undergrad, a full undergrad. Like, I'm just going to do a degree. And that's kind of, I did well, passed better than the high school. I had my primary glory again, primary school glory, become one of those, honor students, first class. And then I started now doing, I get ready now to say, what am I going to transition into? Because it's either I come back home.
This is after the diploma.
After the diploma or after degree, whatever the case. If I decide to, so for me, I was like, if I'm going to do a degree, like everyone I'm seeing, and then I'm never going to use it, I think I got what I need out of this education at this point. What is left is practical education. That's what I felt. So I was like, so I'm going to have to redo my plan for what I'm going to do. Because even the idea of coming back home didn't make sense, because I was like, what am I going to do here? What is there to do? So this is my final year. And as I'm chewing through this, the lady I was seeing got pregnant as well.
Got pregnant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like,
by you or by someone else?
By me.
Oh.
Yours truly. So now it became very clear that I had to get my
stuff together
very fast. So so I decided, you know what? I'm just going to do this comedy thing first. Check it out. I did that, bundled myself up, planned to go and perform at a place 2 hours away, because I was in a smaller town, smaller city. So I drove the way. Like actually, it's a story again because my car broke down, and I was trying to do it discreetly so that if it fails, it's just dead under the water. But then my car broke down. I had to borrow a friend's car. And so borrowing his car, he tells everybody. Now it's like a bunch of us full, like going to Calgary to perform. And it went really well. And it's like the bug bit. Because the thing that I was doing with comedy was, I was like, it's not theater, but at least I don't require other people to do it. I can do it alone. So that's what I did. And it went really well. And I was like, all right, I'm going to give myself 3 months. If it doesn't start paying, I'm out. Because I need to figure it out. Very rookie mistake, man. Because the moment I sat in, I was like, oh, I'm not getting out. Like, you just know, oh, this is my thing. I'm going to do this, come what may, stand up. So I started doing stand up now at that point, and I withdrew from my, from my undergrad, like the admission now to the 2 credits, I withdrew, and I just carried on doing stand up. And I was like, so I'm not sure if I'm going to come home and do it. So around that time is when I was like, all right, let me just go home and see what's happening, even try out at Churchill, which I did. Performed, it was well, but I was like, this is not it. It's not going to work here the way I know it. And I just came for 1 month, and then I went back. Then I did more stuff, and then I got a lot of success in that too. Especially my first 2 years gave me a lot of openings. I got invited to festivals. I got invited to a TV show that I couldn't do because I was not a citizen or a permanent resident. It was a whole lot of stuff that just affirmed the decision to pursue stand-up as an art form. Yeah, so the next thing financial that happened is of course I made money. I got signed to tour, which means I was gonna make money from stand-up. But after college, of course, is like that of I got signed to Yak Yaks, which was the biggest comedy agency happening in Canada at that time. And they would put me on tour across the country. And I got festivals. Even before I got signed to Yak Yaks as an independent, I got festivals. So it made me so much money that the job that I had gotten under my postgraduate work permit was didn't make sense financially.
What were you getting postgraduate? What were you getting from comedy?
So
from that job? And
from the job, I'd be making something like $18,000 to $2,000 a month.
Okay.
After tax, maybe 15, 60 thereabouts.
Okay.
Which was very little. But it was enough for someone like myself and the age that I was at.
And that at this point you have the girl you're seeing who's pregnant at that point in time.
Yes.
Okay.
At that point in time, actually, the kid has been born. That's actually, the kid has been born way down. So that's way down the line.
Okay.
And we are no longer together, but everything is happening.
Yeah.
So I'm making this.
And what are you making at the
and the comedy? I'm making around the same, 1,500 to 2,000, but I'm working way less hours, and I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And 2,000 to even sometimes 3 or 4, depending on the gigs how they're coming in. And not only that, of course, I didn't realize that I would have to pay the first year. I would have to pay taxes at the end of the year because this is a self-employed thing.
Right. So
I was like, oh, it's tax-free. It was not tax-free. Oh, my God. So I had a huge bill the first year for tax. So I kind of settled the two till I could no longer keep that job. It just didn't make sense to allocate time for it. So I just did the comedy thing. And I guess the next big blow became when my work permit expired. I couldn't renew it. Even though it was an open work permit, I couldn't renew it because I was self-employed. I was not working under someone's job. Right. So I've already flouted my terms, it seems.
Yes, and you couldn't use the comedy club that had signed you, the comedy agent that had signed you.
Because you're an independent contractor.
Okay.
So the way they are engaging you is as an independent contractor. So you are your own business.
Yeah.
So you have to figure that out. I mean, I learned that the first year when I had to pay taxes.
Yeah.
That would be, I've been my 3rd year in comedy. That's when I had to pay taxes. I was like, ooh, snap. Because the festival, they paid a lot of money and stuff like that. So now it became a pickle, because that's actually the kind of the blessing stroke curse that had to get me out of Canada, because now I didn't have status moving on. Because at this point I'm like, so I apply permanent residence. I have the hours from the job and they have not expired. I can apply that under that stream, which was I think it's called the Canadian Experience class. I apply under that, or I apply as a self-employed person. And it was the logic was the experience class would make sense because it would come back in 6 months, and and then
The quicker the better.
quicker than, and it's cheaper. Self-employed class, more expensive. It's gonna take 2 years. You're not sure. So, but in the meantime, I have to figure out my temporary status.
Of course.
So now I applied, and I thought even applying for the permanent would give me status. Didn't. So I stayed like almost another full year, not knowing I don't have status. Just working. I'm doing gigs. I even got. Oh, and then there was another job that I also got. That was in oil and gas, which was safety. And it was a lot of money, so much money that I'd work for 3 months in the summer. That's enough money to live by throughout the year.
Throughout the year.
So then I'd just do comedy. That comedy money becomes extra. And because the summer, the comedy was slow, it was perfect to do that job. Then come back and tour the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And just do my experiments, build my whatever, my audience. And then because they were paying a lot of money too, I made sure this time I'd make them deduct more even in taxes, just so I don't have any debt.
Any bill at the end of the year.
So that every year during tax season, I'd get the refunds I would get plus the extra that I added. So that was my savings plan, and it used to work very well. But then now my status was running out towards the end of my stay there. So it became one of those things where I just have to come back home and figure it out and see if I want to go back or something. So I came back, didn't feel like...
So when you're coming back home, how much money are you coming back with?
I didn't have a lot. I actually didn't have a lot, but I had a lot of optimism. Very important to have optimism. I think I had maybe around $500,000
in Kenya shillings.
In Kenyan shillings.
Yeah.
But I was also owed almost 10K in taxes, tax returns. And I figured when I left, that would have been good capital.
Yes.
But now coming back, it was not going to be good capital, but it was going to keep me for a period. Time. And then there was also some money from some projects that I did. So I had slightly more that I was expecting, but the actual money that I had access to was around $500,000.
Just want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Were your parents in any way upset about the decisions that you made, especially around your degree or lack thereof decision?
If they were, I didn't know. Okay. I didn't find out. It seems like at some point they just abandoned me, man. They just let me be.
Yeah.
I guess it seemed like my stuff was working out.
But you were paying for yourself.
I was paying for myself.
Well, so they really wasn't.
I'd even ask, do you need money? I'd send them black tax. So they felt like I got my stuff together.
Okay.
So in a way, they trusted me. I think that's what I felt happened, is they trusted what I was doing. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I figured it out.
Okay.
So fortunately, I didn't have any pushback from them for anything.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. So we're at the point where you're coming back with about $500,000, you owed 10K in taxes, a couple of money streams here as well from projects.
Yeah.
So you come back with a lot of optimism.
A lot of optimism. No, I come back saying I'm gonna do something to and then go back to Canada and do whatever, figure out the paperwork thing. But then my friend, I'm looking at the costs, the legal costs of doing what I'm supposed to do so that I can go back to Canada. So high. But if I was to do it by myself, figure it out, there's a high chance of mistakes. Plus, it was stressing me out. At this point, it was really stressing me out. It was getting me depressed. Because remember, I have a kid, I can't leave without... figuring out what I'm going to do. So now I'm here trying to go back. And then I realized, it's going to be hard. Because I don't have, what am I going back? Like, they won't let you go in. You don't have a visa, you don't have, what do you have? So you're going to be actually at risk because you're going to overstay. Because technically I overstayed my visa, so I already had that bad reputation, which apparently takes a few years, maybe 2 years to expire or something like that. But back then, 2 years was a lot of time for me. Because even if I had applied for self-employed thing, it would have been fine. But the anxiety of waiting and the 2 years was so long. When you tell me 2 to 5, it's so long. So I'm back with this, and I'm like, I want to do farming. So I'm going to do farming. I'm going to do this, have some land. country. I'm going to do maybe dairy farming, which eventually turned out to be therapy. Because I got some animals, I got some friends to give me some extra money to fundraise so that I can get started with this project of mine. But I underestimated how insane that project was going to be. So I started doing farming, and then after 8 months, my friend was like, dude, this is going to take you another 5 to 10 years to stabilize. Do you want to keep doing that? Another uncle told me the same thing. The same uncle, one of those who told me, hey, who had told my dad, he shouldn't go. He himself, he has dairy animals. So he's like, listen, I know this. I do this every day. This is what's gonna take you. Now you make your decision. I was like, all right. I'm now willing to listen. You don't listen to people. You have an idea. You have a plan. You're a man with a plan and everything. But now after 8 months of no cash coming in, just cash going out, I was like, all right, I have to do. And then the money that I borrowed from my friends, my investors, the money they've given me is gone. I can see it. It's in the cow. I see the cows. I see the structures I've put up. But I'm like, I'm not a dairy farmer, bro. I can't do this. I don't like this. So my other friend who had a dormant-ish company then, construction, was like, a bit of construction, right? Because I did that too. I did so many things. Why don't we do this, figured out something? So we started doing construction, and that kind of worked out. We made enough money in a period of 2 years, but it required a lot of knowing people, because the biggest construction clients up country would be government and CDF and county and stuff like that. So we did that, made good money enough that I was like, I could keep doing this, but I was not fulfilled. I was not happy. I was like, I'm not built for this either. So a year and a half, almost 2 years of that, while gradually abandoning the dairy cows, became a thing of, I have to do something else. I have to do comedy. And then I'd come here and I'd do stuff.
By here you mean Nairobi?
Nairobi. My brother would put on, my brother and another guy called Brian Ojoro would put on shows at Creative's Garage. They'd have me come and perform. And I'd be like, yeah, but there's nothing here. Then one day we just had this conversation, me again with my brother, and he's like, if you just start something small, even though he was the guy who was telling me initially, don't just be serious with life. Now he's the one telling me, if this is your thing, if we just focus on building a small audience, it's more fulfilling than nothing at all. Just start where we are. It's like, it's a good idea. So we started looking for venues. And then I was also talking to Emmanuel Kisiangani, who was a comedian who was performing around that time. And we started just building up from scratch from what Brian Ojoro was doing. Then Emmanuel did another thing in Karura here. And I was like, yeah, we can do this. Then I realized all my friends who were putting on shows were sporadic. So I was like, what if we just create so we need to have a consistent stage time. That's the thing we need to do. We have to have a show, come rain, come sunshine. That's it. That's all we need to do. So that's what we did. I started with a monthly show, and I was like, come rain, come sunshine, the last Saturday of the month, or the first Saturday of the month, we're going to have a show at the Blues Restaurant, comedy. We did it. It was so nice because it was also one of those things where people used to be like, that comedy of yours cannot work in Kenya. Kuna kitu hapa. But then, when people would say that, I'd be like, people, practitioners, and I'd be like, but where did I come from? Because I didn't study this anywhere. I just started doing it, and I started learning it on the job. And there was a lot of people who were when I was abroad in Kenya saying, this is good. This is good stuff. So I came back with that confidence of just do it, remembering those 5 people who had commented in their Facebook poster or YouTube video. Just remember them and have them in mind as you organize the shows. And we started like that, man. It was just we'd have when we had 5 people, 10 people, 20 people was amazing. An amazing night. And we did that. After 6 months, we realized, not only do we now have, every month we'd have a new comedian. So which was another thing that the consistency of my friends was not having was every time they do a show sporadically, the next time they do it, the comedians I saw last time were changed. They're not there. Emmanuel at least was consistent. The comedians who were performing with him, because they would come from Churchill and be like, we wanted something more intimate. So then I was just like, okay, let's just build this from there. Like these guys, every month we're adding. After 6 months, we're like, oh my God, we're going to have to add shows because there's more comedians
And
who want to
space
perform
for sure, yeah.
than there is stage time. Because the shows would just be like, we started with like, we have 4 people and the lineup at 5. Then next month it's 6. Then all of a sudden we're at 12. I was like, what are we going to do with these guys?
Yeah.
So we started like Monday workshops. Because now I was realizing there's some obvious mistakes that if Kenyan comedians want to be globally viable, we can do certain things that are in tandem with the rest of the comedy world.
Right.
So that if you are ever encountering any situation like that, or if they come, we just gel instantly.
Right.
So we started these Monday workshops where we're training comedians. That's 2018. We're training comedians and we are writing together. So we're working on etiquette of the stage and how to treat an audience, how to do stuff like that. And comedians are gelling, guys are roasting each other, so they are becoming friends. The community is growing. Then the audience also comes, and it was open, so people would come and just sit and sip drinks and watch us mess around.
At this point in time,
Yeah.
how are you living? Where are you getting your money?
Okay. At this point in time, so my brother was a writer for one of those sports betting companies, and he found out that they were franchising some of their shops. So I bought like 3 franchises that would sustain us in Nairobi. That would sustain my stay in Nairobi. That was the plan, right? Not very good business, I'll tell you, but it kind of gave me some semblance
Explain
of
to me these
busy.
3 franchises you buy. What exactly? Just explain the business for me.
So the business model is this big brand. It was called Premier Bet. They have what is it called? They have the license, the BCLB license, and everything.
Right.
So what they want you to do is manage the administration, the employees, the rent of the place, and the collections. Because for them managing, I don't know, whatever, 100 branches across the country was too much. So it was easier to have a smaller entrepreneur run a shop. So that I have a shop in Dagoretti Corner, I have another one near Madare there, I think it's Kiamaiko, another one in Njoro. So I'd be supervising this, they'd keep me busy. So now my margins would be, we'd split the collections.
Right.
On they were taking huge. I think they were taking 55. We were keeping 45.
Okay.
But we had to pay for everything.
You're paying the employees.
The employees, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So that was the model.
Okay.
But it was the risks are huge. I mean, it's a vice. And honestly, even when I went into it, I used to view gambling as entertainment fully. But then once I was actually doing it, I was just like, holy smokes, this is not what I thought it would be at all. Even the people who are doing it, you're like, you shouldn't be doing this at all.
Like you should be gambling your money.
Yeah, bruh. And people would be coming in gambling the 20, the 50.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, and they are hoping for a payday. I mean.
Yeah. And what would the collections, like give me the average of like one of the stores, what collections would you have in a month on average?
Oh, so in a month, it wasn't around 1.5. But 15% margins. Then we would split with the guys.
And this 1.5 million, you're saying this 1.5 is a combination of 20 bob, 100 bobs, 200 bobs.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody who's betting like big money.
No, rarely do you get anyone betting big money. The people who bet big money are the ones who would win money from us.
I see.
Somebody wins like 10,000 from a bet, and then they come and put in like 5 or 7, hoping for more.
Yeah, and then you take that, and you get that 5.
And then so you take it again, and then what's happening is, then there's other things too, because there was also employee theft. Like you're dealing in cash, it's not commodity. So
right.
Sometimes you have sold 1.5, so the risks are all with us. So like I've sold 1.5, because the big store doesn't care. But then at the end of the month, the margins that would have been yours, like 100, was stolen or something, or somebody gave out a free bets. But now you have to pay because KRA is looking at that, the master franchise is looking at that. So and now I'm the one who should have been taking care of that. So those risks were so many. Employees would disappear. Just one day, somebody collects 15K and disappear. In the collections, because per day you'd sell like, it's actually around almost 3 million actually, because per day you'd sell like 100K, but then payouts would be 75 or 85K, something like 85K would be payouts. So it was ilikuwa character developed. It was a lot, and but also over time as well, I'm doing that. And in my mind, I was like, I'd just use the profits from that to keep myself here and to pay for this. To pay for the comedy thing, which I did a lot of. So also for the good month, a lot of the money went into investing in comedy and what we were doing with comedy, and that was That was a running figure. I didn't even keep track because it was also passion fueling it, so it was easier to do. But yeah, so the numbers were looking fine there. It was bad, so much that we wanted to get our own license, but then. But the moral was weighing in on me too much. So I was just like, I'm gonna have to end this. So we sold off all the shops just in time, right before I think Matiang'i cracked down on all the betting shops.
Yeah.
So I think we sold off most of them.
And what did it even cost to buy the franchise?
It was like 300K a shop.
Per shop.
Okay. On average, 300K a shop. Yeah, it was kidogo, but it was nice for those.
Yeah.
But for the areas, it made sense, even from the potential return.
Yeah.
Okay. Buda ukiekelea 300 so hivi. Unaweza cheki kinyona 100,000 per day. Hey, ulikuwa unaangalia numbers. You look at the numbers.
You say,
for the due diligence, and you're like, this
makes sense.
This makes enough sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was something.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I talk a lot. I'm just realizing that right now.
Anyway,
they're changing the camera.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We are on these two as we sort of keep going. So now I guess the collective starts. Maybe it's hasn't been called the collective at the moment.
Yeah.
But it starts building. You're saying you have a good number of comedians. You have more comedians than you have stage time.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a crowd that starts building. So what's the next? When does this begin to make semblance of financial sense?
Okay, so again, for me, one of the things that I saw from day one was the value. It didn't make financial sense. I was not able to monetize it yet, but the value made sense from day one. Like the people would come to shows would really enjoy it and they loved it and they'd say you should do more of this. And every month our audience was growing. But when it actually started going black financially, that would have been 2021 or 2022, thereabouts. It's when you actually start getting, we had a small, you paid all your bills and you're not going into your elsewhere.
Your pocket, right.
You're not going into your pocket, you're not going elsewhere to pay the money, to pay for the bills. But really, I think 2022, 2023 is when it started making sense. And even the support we got with some, I think there was a project we did in 2022 that actually gave us a lot of leeway because we got a grant to develop the same type of thing in Nairobi. We got a grant to develop it in Mombasa and Nakuru. So while we were in Mombasa and Nakuru and collecting tickets, it started making sense financially because at least this time we are not cash negative because we have the grant, so we can pay ourselves. But also as artists, as a comedian, I'm also getting gigs now. I mean, Too Much Information with Ty was one of the projects the first few projects we did that was paying us
which
money.
He told us about, He told us about also the life-changing money that gig was because you guys were being paid proper. Because it was a if I'm not mistaken, it was a guy who writes on one of the big shows in the
Daily
States,
Show,
the Daily Show, and he had come in and anyway, there was real money.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was real money so much that Ty quit his job.
Yes.
It was hilarious.
Yes.
But I don't fault, like it was like, oh yeah, you're now in.
Yeah.
Like you're in, there's no going back. When I saw him do that, I was like, holy smokes. But we made now that's when we made money because we were writing for it, we were planning the show and it was smooth, it was amazing. we are also now getting, I was also getting corporates, at least I was a bit, some corporate gigs here and there. Shows were selling out, we were selling tickets, so we were making money, paying guys and keeping some and investing more. Like we were, and then we just kept plowing back in somehow. We just kept plowing back in. So in terms of the actual dates of when we were like, oh, this makes sense financially, I don't actually recall it, because I just recall the time it made sense as a commodity for me, when I was like, oh, this will work. It just needs a bit of grit and endurance. If you can just hold on till these numbers turn over this way, then it would work. So, but I would say around that, oh, and also around COVID, like 2020, we'd have these spurts of demand. Like there's nothing else happening, we're selling out shows. So for the first time, we have a show and we've sold out, we have to find extra seats. And now we have the money, we're paying guys. It's nice. It felt nice to pay guys from comedy.
Right.
The guys who have been there just doing it for 1,000 shillings. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the average comedian right now in Nairobi? If you're a decent comedian, what are you taking home? Because I mean, this is for stand-up comedy, not the skits and social media and stuff, but like stand-up comedy.
I couldn't tell you there's an average to begin with. I don't know it exactly, but I also feel like I'm not sure if I can even. If I would be sharing, then I'd have to be sharing my own figures, because I do know from clubs what the club gig would give an average comedian. You know, like on average, a comic is doing 30 to 50, actually 30 to 100 a club gig, ticketed shows. But it depends on,
on the type, the comedian,
the attendance. But also you realize a lot of comedians are independent. So then they're working with, there's also other gigs that they're getting that they're not, I don't have that information to be hey, how much you make it. But honestly, the scale is so wide that there's a guy making 5K and then there's a guy making 150 in a night. And it all depends. And then there's, of course, expenses from all directions too. It depends. So, but I'd say Ty is doing really well.
We'll have him back. We'll have him back. We'll have him back.
Ask him, what are the numbers, man?
We'll have him back. Yeah, because he had a show that he had to cancel because of the roof cave the other day.
Yes.
But it was a show at the Red Room. It was good capacity there.
Yeah. And then also because we are interdisciplinary, we are doing so many things. I am working on many, like not only am I running the collective, I'm also working as a comedian and I'm also directing things, plays. And then there's Amandip, there's Justine, there's journalism, the staff I show. Like there's so many things that it's so hard to be like, this is the one thing that is making sense. But at one of the happiest things for me is like a lot of guys from our cohort, from the first year, almost everyone from our first year of starting out is earning a living actively using comedy really well. They're doing well, like not bad, they're not barely getting by, they're doing well. And it's good. And it's growing. Like there's more guys, there's younger guys who are coming up and they're beginning to do well as well. So, but I don't have the absolute figures to give.
So where's your money now as we sort of wrap up? Where have you invested your money? Have you put your money in any other spaces?
Like on a 50. I'm still dabbling in farming.
You're still dabbling in farming.
I'm still dabbling.
So you left the dairy, and then you came back.
I left the dairy. I went into beekeeping, doing passion fruits, and just vegetables and other stuff and all that stuff. And that is a bit easier, but also it's easier when you have somebody, a friend I made while I was dealing with that life, who's got a green thumb. So you would say it's one of those guys who just needs funding. Unimse tu akipata do. Anaweza fanya kitu ingine. He can make things happen on the farm. That's the guy who's really helping me. And we are just kind of in the process of trying to mechanize that and actually make it also more viable. But I've had a lot of bad seasons, even with that. So even when I left the farming, I didn't stop. So I kept doing CG potatoes, hapa, CG nini. I did medium-term crops. I even planted trees. Just a whole bunch of,
What's been the
hassles are
What's been the
shags.
most successful farming project you've taken on?
Oh, the most successful. There was a time I did cabbages.
Mhm.
Did like 5 acres. That was nice. And
What was the nini vis-a-vis the money out?
Oh, the
Investment.
The investment would have been how much is it? Because I did it in batches. So like I did an acre, then an acre, then an acre, and then the first 2 or 3 acres paid for the first 2 acres paid for the other 3, because the other 3 was like we sold a cabbage for 5 bob. But like the other ones were during a good season, and it made us. More almost 300 an acre, I think. But we had also invested quite a bit. I don't remember the figures as well. Because it was a lot of, hey, ebony to my ear, no to my ear. So I just had it written somewhere and it just made sense. Actually, the reason I stopped doing that project was, first, the guy who was really helping me run that thing, his wife got sick and he got so distracted he couldn't continue running the project. So it became a problem. But that was the first successful one. And it was in around 2020, around 2019, when I had left that. I was already in Nairobi. I'm trying to figure it out in Nairobi. And then after that, it's been just, but you keep trying it. It's been betting and betting. Like I put all of it back in.
Yeah.
Just bet it back in. But then I've seen better success with the many crops we've been doing now lately, where we're doing fruits, doing trees, you're doing bees and honey and stuff like that, and it's looking much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's farming, there's the comedy club.
There's also this one it will not make money, but the TV shows we're starting. It will eventually.
Yeah.
So we're building we're just building what is it called, like a catalog of stuff that we're going to use in the future. That's primarily where I have a lot of my focus and a lot of my stuff keeps going to. But I also just angel invest hapa small things that yeah.
Okay.
That I'm not even sure I can share, but it's okay.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Do
you do any of the more traditional rules of emergency funds and things like that?
No. I've not been able to. It's never worked for me. Yeah.
You're living life as...
I live life as it is. Money is not everything, guys. Let me tell you one thing about No, I don't, just because I don't know if I've never found it to be practical, or I felt like lots of like collective, what is it called? Like universal knowledge about stuff is usually packaged as universal, but it's archetype driven. Like, or do you save a lot? I don't save a lot, but I invest a lot. But it's just because I do know my lack of discipline means, kama niko na pesa hapa, fulani. There's certain pressures that if they come, I'll take care of it, and it's probably not a good idea. It's just nicer to not have it and just battle deal with the pain. Deal with the pain, and finally you won't have lost a lot more. So I feel like, so when it comes to you investing and saving for nini, the thing for me is that I have a house in Shags, kikiumana tunaenda huko. Huko kuna chakula, kuna kila kitu, kuna maji, ni nini ingine mnataka? But I imagine, of course, there's a level of liquidity required. So the way I used to look at it was always looking at it from a long-term, medium-term, and short-term. So for the long-term, it's the investing in the long-term assets and stuff like that. That would be the land, the house, that sort of stuff. And even kama unaweka hizo treasury bonds, nini, kama uogopi. It's okay, actually, it's fine. I like that one. So property is very long-term for me. Medium-term would be now stuff that earns me what keeps my lifestyle going. But the short-term is ya mboga, ya food, ya chakula, ya nini. That's why even when I came to Nairobi, we started doing this with my previous business partner, because it was like, so I'm going to invest in these shops, because I know the shops, even if I didn't make a profit, there's cash. naweza raid hiyo nini bila guilt.
And you get cash.
I can raid it without guilt, and I can take care of my bills. I can pay anybody who is on my neck, and then I can just nimekula from mbele. It's better than taking that from a credit card, in my opinion. So in my what I do is I do these small ventures that are not that risky, but as long as they're self-sustaining, it's fine because you can keep raiding them, and it feels like you're just taking from a credit card. Ni kama umechukua tu kwa biashara yako, but inakusaidia na small things here and there. So instead of that, and then I don't do Fuliza, so I avoid Fuliza in that sense. And do that, and it helps.
Okay. I hear you. I think a complete financial story, that one.
Oh, yeah, it is complete with a lot of words, man. Mtadu nini sasa?
It's fine. It's not one of the longer ones. But thank you so much for coming on to Financial Incorrect.
Thank you, Barrack.
I've enjoyed listening to your story. I mean, I first of all, I didn't know it. I would never have guessed it. So many, I don't even know if they're ups and downs. It's just like, that is out of this world. But thanks so much for coming and sharing. I hope you guys have also enjoyed listening to this episode and this podcast. Please ensure, hopefully, and I pray that we can edit this quick enough that this can go out before your event, and you guys can attend and continue to build up the stand-up community in Kenya, absolutely. And we can turn this into a proper viable business industry, and a viable industry. But thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys next week on Financially Incorrect.